All right, guys, welcome back to another Old School Magic Deck Tech with Clynn. Hey, Clynn.
How's it going?
All right, so Clynn, good, doing well. So we are at GP Seattle 2017 or 18. I'm getting my years wrong. And there's a crib back there because Steven slept there last night.
It was a rough night.
It was about a $500 bet.
Yeah.
Steven, why don't you show us how that works?
Alright, so it basically happened where I was stumbling into this late at night. It was after the bars closed. It kicked me out. I just kind of toppled in. Next thing I know, I woke up with a strain in my neck.
Those of you guys want to see some evidence of that, please message me below in the comments. All right, so basically Clynn is doing an awesome deck tech. He played this deck at LURKERCon 4. There's going to be a lot of great videos about this. What was your record?
2-2.
2-2. And we did about 50 people showed up. It was an awesome event, incredible event, so be sure to watch all the videos. But Clynn's going to run through this deck tech, and let's go through the main deck and then the sideboard, and then we'll ask some strategic questions because I'm sure you guys want to know why the hell he did what he did. All right, Clynn, take it away. Let's do it.
Cool. All right, so this is essentially a Nevin Rawls disc deck. I really like old school because you have a lot of time to pull at the edges of the format and test the way cards work in the format. So this is a Nevin Rawls disc deck. So we're playing 4 Nevin Rawls disc, 2 Jadam Tomes, a huge suite of counter spells, Avoid Fates, 3 Avoid Fates in the main, 2 red blasts, 1 blue blast. This is certainly not correct, but
Avoid Fate, real quick. This guy's is really good card against the shatters and the disenchants, right?
yeah. 1 green mana to counter an instant that targets a permanent that you control is really, really good. People don't see it coming. You really get people really cheap counterspell. Right, because we intend on fighting a counter war, right? But anyway, so we got 4 counter spells, the mana drain, 4 power sinks, lots of counter spells.
So 12 or 12? 9 plus, what is that?
We're playing more than 12, man.
Holy crap. Was it
We're
9 plus
12, 13, 14, 15, I think.
15 main deck.
15
what?
mana
Okay.
counter spells.
Okay. What is the reasoning behind that? So we know why you're doing that.
Sure. So the point of this deck, like if you're casting a Nevin Rawls disc, the point of the Nevin Rawls disc, and something that you'll see later in the deck, is that we're not playing any moxes because we want to gain card advantage and mana advantage when we blow a Nevin Rawls disc to get the moxes. That's what Nevin Rawls disc is for. Nevin Rawls disc in this deck is designed to blow up moxes. So we're not playing any moxes. It was a thought experiment to see if you can beat the deck on the axis of moxes. Like, can I build a deck where I'm not playing any moxes, you are playing moxes, and I can use that to my advantage, right? Kind of like how the Fast Bond deck, Black Vice was saying, can I win on the axis of card advantage where you're drawing a bunch of cards and I make that bad? Can I make moxes bad for you?
Okay.
So that's what we're doing.
Well, the win con obviously is this guy.
Mishra's Factory, yeah, really good win con for blowing up a Nevin Rawls disc, right? So the plan is to play a Nevin Rawls disc, fight over that Nevin Rawls disc, which is why we have so many counter spells, and then mana deny our opponent. The games that I won always went like this. Few counter spells to keep yourself alive early game, play a Nevin Rawls disc, fight over a Nevin Rawls disc, play a tome, kill with Mishra's Factory. Right? That's our plan. That's what we're trying to do with this deck. And it was hard. I won the only match I played against the deck. I won, but it was, to be honest, it was kind of a little bit of a fluke. I probably should have lost that match. I certainly should have lost that match, but my opponent made a very, very small, minor misplay. That the way with his version of the deck worked kind of screwed him because he was new. This is his first old school game.
Sure.
So, but it went well. It went well. It went kind of as I expected. I learned a lot about Nevin Rawls disc.
And this, so you did this as kind of like a study. You
Yes.
kind of made this. And guys, this was not his typical deck. He usually likes to play Fastbond and Fork. He made this deck up kind of for the tournament, which I really appreciate. So we also, let's finish this part up. All one of each awesome restricted card. Keep in mind, there's only 1 Maze of Ith for Eternal Central rules because we are using 4 strip mines. So that's really important. the Swedish rules, they can allow 4 Maze of Ifs. Mana base, right, Clynn? Pretty much normal. I like the 4 basic islands, obviously. A lot of. Do you see any Blood Moons?
I fought a lot of Blood Moons.
Wow.
Yeah, actually, one of the matches I lost was because I allowed a Blood Moon to resolve. I had 1 basic island in play, knowing that there was 3 more in my deck. There was probably 25 cards left in my deck, and I was going to be drawing 3 cards a turn with a Library of Alexandria and a Tome in play. So I was kind of like, okay, well, this should be fine. I can allow this Blood Moon to resolve. I'm drawing 3 cards a turn. I'll get another basic island soon. I had 2 counter spells in my hand. I was like, this will be fine. Because one of his main strategies, axes of attack, was Mishra's Factory. And so I figured this is going to slow him down and I'm going to be all right. But then, I probably draw 15 cards and never drew another basic island, which was really unfortunate, but that's the way Magic goes sometimes.
Right. All right, so let's take a look at the sideboard, and what do we got over here?
Right, so for sideboard options...
Now, do you want to be keeping your cards in your hand? Like, I noticed the tomb, so you want card advantage. That's a key here?
Yeah, well, so, like I said, fundamentally, what your plan with this deck is to play a Nevinral's Disc, fight over it, and then destroy their mana. And so you're going to be playing a lot of draw-go Magic. In my first match with Matt Place, there was probably 30 turns over the course of 2 matches where it's just draw, go, 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 until we build up a hand. And now we're starting to discard the hand size a few times. We're designing our hands to fight a counter war. And that's why having all these very, very efficient counter spells are in the deck, because we plan on fighting a counter war after we've already spent 4 mana, which is a really hard thing to do against the deck. And then they're going to untap and have disenchants. So that's what Avoid Fate is good for. The deck was okay.
So let's go back to the sideboard though. We're going to.
Sure.
So we have Ivory Tower for protect against Black Vice strategy.
I mean, we have a lot of very standard sideboard cards that are good options. One of the things that I like about this deck. So let's do Ivory Tower. We've got Crumble, the 4th Avoid Fate.
Crumbles for what?
Crumbles for when you're playing the deck. You want to have a crumble. You want to have access to a crumble because you want to crumble their Mox Sapphire or their Lotus or their Soul Ring before you get into the counter fight, right? Which is kind of weird because you want to, or if they've got a tome early, you want to kill that tome early so that when you go to the counter fight, they haven't drawn way more cards than you. So I've got the 1 of Crumble. I wanted to try that out. I never got a chance to play it, so who knows how well it does, right? And then Power Leech.
Your pet card.
My pet card. Power Leech is very, very good when you're playing, a lot of the deck strategies are running Mishra's Factory. And Mishra's Factory only deals you 1 damage when you have Power Leech, right? And so it makes the deck take turns and turns and turns, or at least non-Shivan Dragon or non-Sarah Angel versions of the deck. The factory versions of the deck take 10 more turns to kill you when you have Power Leech, and anytime they top Moxes, it's going to take turns and turns and turns for you to get back in the game if something goes haywire. Whirling Dervish is obviously for black decks. And then one of the reasons I liked this deck was because I'm playing no white spells, which, like I said, I plan on fighting a war over Nevinral's Disc, and with Gloom in play, it makes it really hard for the deck to use its disenchants, right? Which is a big part of the whole strategy that we're playing, is their disenchants. And so if you can resolve a Gloom and then fight over a Nevinral's Disc, that's even better.
You're going to probably end up winning that war.
Yeah, and then
more counters.
2 red elemental blast, a blue blast. But what these are for is for leaning up the counter war, right? So if you go into the deck, right, we've got 4 power sinks in the main. So these are going to replace power sinks.
Okay.
Right?
Make it more efficient.
Make it more efficient.
And then Blood Moon, it makes it even more, it makes it pretty good too.
Yeah, and that's, the blue elemental blast kills Blood Moon, the red elemental blast kills Serendib, so that sort of thing. And then we got the 1 of Shivan, because I didn't know if I was going to need another finisher. I didn't, and then against creature decks, you might just want to have a big fatty to stop the incoming Serendibs.
That's kind of, I think that's one you have to, I think that might be.
It might need to be main board. I don't know. I'm probably not going to play this deck again.
What? Well, yeah, because you tend to break them up. By the way, this was the LURKERCon 4. Everybody got a Fallen Empires booster pack.
Yeah, so then
I
had everybody I played signed this pack.
That's good.
Right? So it's a great memento. That's one of the great things about old school is you get these kind of mementos. And so this is the standard everybody signed card that I got. Paralyzed with everybody's signature on it. Super cool.
Awesome.
One of the opponents that I played kept our life totals on the back of this card.
What?
And then gave it to me.
Hold that up again.
Right? He wrote our life totals.
Just hold it still there. One second. Wow.
He told me at the beginning of the game, hey man, I bought a ton of these cards because it's a ridiculous.
Yeah, like that. All right. 1, 2, 3. It's perfect. That's cool. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, I'd never seen it before, but it's a really cool moment. You know, I'm always going to remember that game, and it was a lot of fun. That dude was from Texas. He flew up here for the Legacy GP, made day 2, and then conceded to his opponent, so his opponent could go to game day 2 because he wanted to come play old school with us.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was
that's
super
freaking awesome. So it sounds like you had a really great time at the LurkerCon.
Absolutely, man. It was super fun.
So guys, what do you guys think about this interesting deck? I don't want to call this janky because Steven's deck, by the way, we're going to do a deck tech. It's super jank. No, Steven's deck is actually pretty competitive. He'll be talking about a blue white sky deck. But Clynn, your thoughts on sounds to me like this deck is really focused on punishing people who are playing the deck and playing Moxes. And I think there's a lot of creativity here. I really like what you did in terms of trying to basically trying to, like, I like what you said about Neville's Disc. Like, you kind of take a card with old school, right? And you start out, and you build off of the strategy, right? You think of different ways.
I want to learn.
You want to learn about it.
Nevinrall's Disc, and so now I know.
You focus on the Nevinrall's Disc.
I have a lot of experience now playing with Nevinrall's Disc. So now, when I go to design other decks and I want to play other decks, I am now an expert in playing Nevinrall's Disc.
You hear that, Brian? Expert.
Expert in playing Nevinrall's Disc.
No, I like that though. That's what's so cool about old school is oftentimes I always see you making new decks for these tournaments or when we just hang out, and that's what makes old school so cool.
Like the last deck I did, I wanted to learn about Fork, so I built a Fork deck. The deck before that was Black Vice and Howling Mine. The deck before that was Fast Bond. You know what I mean? I like that old school doesn't change, so you have a lot of time to, like I said, pull at the edges of the format, test each card, so you really get a great feel of how all the cards interact. Old school is a great format.
How to maximize its abilities and efficiencies and take it to a new level. I like this because also it's not using Sedge Troll and the normal Troll Disco, where they did blow up the Nevinrall's Disc and black mana. This is totally different with blue. So I think that's really great. All right, guys, put in the comments below if you like this deck. What do you think Clynn should add, delete? I think it's kind of interesting. I haven't even played against it yet. So I hope he doesn't break it down before I get a chance. Clynn and I did not play yet for the tournament. So, Clynn, thanks for your time. You guys want to watch Steven's deck? It's coming up here soon also. Thanks, guys. We'll talk soon. Thanks, Clynn.